Hi folks, it's Bob with Mountain Crest Farms. It's getting to be summertime. We're going to be outside working a lot in the heat, sweating a lot, losing a lot of fluids. And today I'm going to do a video about a healthy way to stay hydrated. But before we do, let's take a walk up here and take a look at the pigs, because we've got some new arrivals since the last time we talked. And we'll show you some new arrivals, and we're expecting some more new arrivals really soon. Like, I expected them night before last. They're not here yet, so let's go up here and make sure the ones that are here are in good shape, and see if Violet's given us any more new ones since I was up here a few hours ago. It's a little after noon here right now. So and I'm just learning to use a selfie stick. So if it's kind of wobbly and trying to do things one-handed is new for me. So I apologize for that. But anyway, let's go over here and see what we got. First, we're going to take a look at Pork Chop. Pork Chop's giving me her 5th litter. Let me see if I can change this camera around. No. How do I do that? I want the other camera. That's not it either. Uh-oh. We'll do it this way. 10 little bacon seeds. And this is Pork Chop. Right here. By her name, you can tell. When I got her, she was 2 months old, and she was supposed to be going to the processor when she got big enough. But instead, she breeds for us now. She's a half Berkshire, half large black hog. There's 10 little bacon seeds back there. Let's go over here, see what we got over here. We've got a full-blooded Berkshire over here. And she's being a pig. Had her head in the bucket till I walked over here. There goes her head's going back down into the bucket. And she's busy eating. Looking around in there, there's no new bacon seeds. And over here, that big one, got it right there. That's Roscoe. He's the boar. He's full-blooded large black. That's mainly what we raise here is large blacks. We've got a couple of sows that are large blacks. That's what we raise. They're great beginner pigs. If you've never been around pigs, which I hadn't when I started this 4 years ago. They're gentle. Roscoe over there, the boar. Well, Roscoe weighs about 700 pounds. Between 600 and 700 pounds. And he's still got his tusks. He always will. He's gentle as can be. I walk out there in the pasture and he comes running, but that doesn't worry me. He's not coming to do me any harm. He's coming over so he can flop down and get a belly rub. But large blacks are great pigs. They're a heritage breed and they're kind of endangered. So between being a good beginner pig, which I needed when I started, never having been around pigs, and their gentle disposition, they're great. They are, and the meat is awesome. If you ever have any large black pig meat, you will never buy another thing from the grocery store. But anyway, let's go see how to make something that's a healthy way to stay hydrated during the summer. Okay, summertime is coming on. It's going to be hot soon. How do you stay hydrated and not be drinking a bunch of chemicals or something created by a chemical corporation instead of something healthy. It's real simple. It's called Haymaker's Punch. Got its name from way back in the day when people made this and used it to stay hydrated when they were out harvesting hay. That's where Haymaker's Punch came from. It's also called Switchel. Where Switchel came from, I don't have a clue. What you're going to need is some ginger. Now, a lot of people use powdered ginger from the spice section of the store. I don't. I buy chunks of ginger root and use that. You're going to need, and these next 3 items I'm going to show you, they're not the health food section items. They're a certain store that a lot of people hate. They're store brand items. If you want to give me some grief in the comments, go ahead, but I'll just laugh it off. You're going to need lemon juice, just plain old lemon juice. Squeeze lemons if you want to. I've got other things to do. I've got pigs to take care of. You're going to need honey. Now, honey is expensive. I drink a gallon a day of this stuff during the summer, and it takes a cup of honey. That'll be about 2/3 of this. But for the health benefits of drinking this instead of something that is a chemical concoction, like some of those powdered drinks, and I'm not going to mention the names, but they usually have something like aspartame for a sweetener and all that, I'll spend a few extra dollars. And you're going to need apple cider vinegar. And you're going to need, I'm not even going to bring it over here. Over here is a pitcher of water. I make it a gallon at the time. Take a piece of ginger. Well, that didn't break off like I wanted it to. The only tools you need is a grater, a vegetable peeler, and a measuring cup. We'll get the measuring cup in a minute. Now, I love ginger. Ginger is awesome. It tastes good. It's got a little burn to it, which I kind of like, right along with jalapeno peppers, horseradish, wasabi, and everything else. If it's got a little bit of heat, I like it. I use a lot more ginger than most recipes, and you can find the recipes. Just Google Haymaker's Punch, Google Switchel. I use a lot more. If you were to look at a recipe, it would tell you either a half a teaspoon of ginger powder or maybe that much ginger. And it'd tell you to dice it up. I don't use powdered ginger, and I don't dice it up. I grate it. You get the flavor out more. And I grate a pretty good bit. Probably about twice as much as most recipes say call for. But you know what? There is nothing in Haymaker's Punch that is dangerous. Nothing will make you sick. No chemicals. So there's nothing bad about using more of any of this. As you'll find out when I finish making it, you'll see just how far I stray from most recipes. But I grate the stuff. I get a lot more ginger flavor. And I use about twice as much ginger as most recipes would call for. So that's probably just about enough ginger. I've got it almost down to the point where I peeled it back. Pull these off. Drop them in. Oh, wash your hands first. Pull these off, drop them in. And we're done with the ginger. Looks like I've got enough for about 3 more. Lemon juice. How much lemon juice should you use? Well, again, most of the recipes call for about 3 to 4 tablespoons. That looks about right to me. It's not lemonade, but you would think it is the way I use it. For a gallon of Haymaker's Punch, apple cider vinegar. Most recipes call for about 1/3 of a cup. In case you can't tell, I'm not real big on measuring stuff. That's probably more like 1/2 a cup. And finally, honey. The honey I get pretty close. Couple of reasons. I'm a diabetic, and the sugar in the honey, if I use too much honey, I'm getting a lot more sugar. Although the sugar in honey is a lot healthier for you if you're diabetic than regular processed sugar. Granulated sugar you buy in the store will get into your bloodstream a lot faster than the sugar in honey will. They're not the same sugars. Look it up on the internet. The sugar in honey gets into your bloodstream a lot slower than granulated sugar, than the sugars that are in granulated sugar. And since it gets in there slower, it is a lot better for a diabetic. You don't get hit with that sugar. And if your kid happens to drink it, they don't get the sugar rush and drive you nuts either. So, I do measure this. 1 cup of sugar. 1 cup of honey, which is 1 cup of sugar. And I know people are going to say, but local raw honey would be better for you. Well, yes and no. The benefit of local raw honey. There are some other benefits, but the biggest benefit is honey produced locally is produced by local bees that suck on local flowers that have the pollen that you are allergic to if you have allergy issues right there where you live. Local raw honey is useless if you buy local raw honey produced in California and you live in Minnesota. So the only local benefit is for allergies. The raw, yes. If it wasn't pasteurized, if it wasn't heated, there would be some benefits to it. But the benefits I want out of this, staying hydrated healthily, processing doesn't hurt. This is still going to keep you hydrated in a healthy manner. It's still going to taste good. And we'll address that in just a minute. And I use, it's supposed to be a cup. Usually I'm about between a cup and a quarter. I do like my sweets. I know, I'm a diabetic. I'm supposed to stay away from the heat, from my sweets. The doctor and I had to talk about that one time. Because I'm not bad on sweets. I do eat pretty healthy. But I do like my ice cream every now and then. If it's somebody's birthday, I am going to enjoy some cake. And my doctor used to get on me about my diet. And finally, one day I told her, I said, Nancy, you need to understand something. If I eat the way you want me to, I'll be around breathing for another 25 years. Existing for another 25 years. If I eat the way I want to, I'll only be around for 15 or 20 years, but I'll be living for those 15 or 20 years. Your way I exist, my way I live. I'll take living any day of the week. Okay, that's it. You've got ginger in there. You saw how much I used. I told you how much the recipe calls for. You've got lemon juice in there. You saw how much I used. I told you how much the recipe calls for. You've got honey in there. Recipe calls for a cup. I used about a cup. On the honey, I tried a couple things. This doesn't taste bad. Don't get me wrong. This doesn't taste bad. It is a taste that you develop. When you first drink it, you think, well, okay, I can live with that if it'll keep me hydrated. Now, I drink this stuff in January. I'm not outside sweating in January. I'm not needing hydration in January, and this is still my go-to drink. I've got a cup of this with me, 40-ounce cup, all the time. So, I usually add a little bit more honey than normal because I like the flavor. But anyway, what I was going to say, I tried it with molasses because I can get molasses really inexpensive. The stuff is nasty, in my opinion. I'm not going to do any more with molasses. I tried it. One recommended ingredient is, if you like it, maple syrup. Well, Maple syrup's expensive. I tried Ms. Butterworth's, you know, factory made syrup. It's as nasty as it was with molasses. So now I use honey. It's the least expensive that tastes good that I can stand. Honey doesn't stir real good, so just put a little bit of water in there to start with. And get it stirred up really good. But if you think about it, all the ingredients in here, the water, I'm not on city water. I live out in the country. I'm on a well. I'm not worried about garbage in my water. Don't have to worry about the government adding stuff to the water like city municipal water systems have to have. My water is water. There's a few minerals. It doesn't taste bad. It's good tasting well water. But there's a few natural minerals in it and all. But you've got water. You've got honey. Nice and natural. You've got ginger. Not powdered ginger that came out of a factory either. You saw me. Ginger root that's ground. And apple cider vinegar. That ought to be about good. And what I just did, will make you 1 gallon of switchel. Always lick the spoon. Don't waste any. There you go. You now have 1 gallon of Haymaker's punch or switchel or whatever you want to call it. That stuff I like to drink when it's hot outside. Everybody around here says it's Bob's lemonade. The stuff's good. It's good for you. It keeps you hydrated. It puts some good things into your body. Look up what ginger does for you. Look up what apple cider vinegar does for you. It puts some good things into your body, and it doesn't put any bad things into your body, like some of the fake sugars. Aspartame comes to mind. That's what was in my favorite drink before this. Or just regular sugar. It's a good, healthy drink. Keep a gallon of it on here. Y'all have a good day. And a couple things. Down there at the bottom, give me a thumbs up. Sideways there. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you like the video. When you subscribe, there's a little bell that appears beside the subscribe button. If you click on that bell, you'll be notified every time I do a video. Oh, and there's one other thing that you need to know. You need to always remember, the tomb was empty. He is alive. Y'all have a blessed day and come back and see me.